So, I picked up this rather nice but tatty Sony MiniDisc. It's part of what's called a Lisa system, which is quite a high-end separate system, but just style more than anything, which they released in, I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s. And I just picked this up. I've had these systems in before, and it's always nice to have bits and pieces in as parts. This was advertised as not working. Apparently it's just stuck in standby, doesn't do anything. So it's going to be something like bad power supply, bad capacitors or something like that. Although sometimes on the Sony MiniDiscs, on the MDLP models, if the belts have failed or if they're not aligned properly, they will stay in standby. So you never know, it might be an easy fix like that. So what we'll do, and just get the camera focused a bit better. We'll power it up, see what we actually have going on. Now I can hear the loading motors, that's a good sign. Are we in standby? Yes we are. I don't know if you can see that, it's very faint. But there's a standby light there. But there's absolutely nothing happening other than that noise, which does sound like it's a motor on the transport. So it could be, I mean, let's see if we can actually get to do anything with a disc. It might be a case of it's just looking for a disc to thinking there's one in it. But it does sound like a motor with no load on that, to be honest, as if a belt has failed. So it might be a simple fix. Let's turn the power off and have a look. See if we get into one of these. Okay, so looks just got the big posits on top, which I'll use my nice long screwdriver for rather than using the electric one. And there's some chunky little weird screws. I don't know if you can see them there. It is quite grotty, this machine. Now you can see underneath on the I'll just zoom in and see if I can show you on the screws. Where's he gone? Lost it. There we go. They are quite grotty. Which one are we on? That one there. It's quite grotty, that. Anyway, we can clean all that up if we get it working. Not a problem. It's always nice to save something that's been chucked in a tip, or going to flog it on eBay as parts, and you know, if they don't sell it, they'll just chuck it in a skip or whatever, take it to the tip. It's always nice to fix things. Nice tin lid, metal lid. None of your nasty plastic crap you get on a lot of modern stuff. And there you go, you don't have much going on. You've got the standard MDLP deck that you get, the J ones. We don't have much going on. The usual scenario. Little daughter board there. I'm not sure if that can't be in the MD, is it on this one? Oh, it's got iLink on it. Firewire, what used to be something quite popular. In terms of the power supply, I don't see anything obvious with any capacitors or anything looking a bit bulged or leaking. So I don't, just on a cursory look, I don't think there's anything particularly wrong there. But obviously if that's something that we need to look at later, we will do. What we'll do is we'll concentrate on this for the minute. Let's get zoomed in. See what's going on. I'll just put the ribbon cables out at the moment. Oh, there was actually a disc in, so I didn't notice that. There's actually a disc in there. So that would probably explain why it's stuck in standby and whirling, because there's a disc in, but it doesn't know if there's a disc in or out because it's got caught. If that makes sense. I'll just plug these back in a minute. I hadn't noticed there was a disc in. There's a simple way to get these discs out. Well, there's two. hadn't noticed the disc, to be perfectly honest, at first, but there is a simple way to get these out. You can either turn the machine upside down and power it on and hope it'll eject it, or you can just do it a manual way. If you just push this lever here, it will pop up the chassis. You get your finger underneath the tape, the disc should I say, there to help slide it with the white plastic, and then just use that little one there to help push it all the way out, and voila, your disc is out. Not that you actually saw that happen. There you go, your disc is out. So let's just see if we now power on. Well, we have no motor noise. We are in standby, as you can probably just see there. And now we've powered up. So there isn't a power fault as such. I think it's to do with the belt. If we try and put that disc bit in, I bet it doesn't want to play. No. Yeah. So that's going to be a loading belt. So that's nice and simple. You've probably seen me do these on the channel before. You don't have to take them out like I've done in past if you don't want to. That was just purely to show you what was going on. Simplest way, just get lined up to show you, is you do have a little spring here. Try not to stretch that if you can help it. You don't need to remove it. Just be wary of it that you don't stretch it, and then you just pull this little tab back and it will just pop like that. Out of the clip, get yourself a pair of tweezers. Just lift up and you look at, oh, there's actually no belt at all, it's totally gone. I don't know if you can see in there. Let's try and look at that. There's absolutely no belt what's left whatsoever, just some little bits on the wheel. So it's going to be fun trying to get that cleaned off. Let's get a drop of isoprop on a wood, try and get some of it off. It's not something sensitive like on a tape deck where you would have one on floater. It's just purely a loading, just purely for loading and unloading. So it's not the end of the world. If you don't get it all off, it will still work without actually causing any effects. Oh, there's lots on that. I think I found where the belt is. Oh, nasty goo. What we'll do is we'll just pop a replacement on for a minute just to eliminate, to see if that fixes the problem. If we just put a new belt on and then it's working, we know what we need to do is just clean it up, and to clean it up the easiest way is to take the actual mech out, release the screws, and the lid will just, the chassis will just lift off so we can get them to clean. Just for the moment. For the purposes of the video, let's just see if this fixes it. Get a bit of that old belt there. Take that out. So yeah, I mean, it's not pretty. Obviously, like I say, we'll take that out and clean it in a minute if need be. But hopefully you can see in there, as I say, you just remove that spring there on that side. The whole lid will hinge out on these hinges. Where's my finger there? You better hinge it out. Lift it out from these hinges, the top part. To clean it out, which we'll do after. Let's just see if we've solved the problem. So at the moment we just need to line it back up. Like so. Push that pivot back through. I don't know if we can see that. I'll try and show you. Then just above this screw here there's a pivot. And if you want it, there you go, it's just popped through now, which is the hinge. That's the only thing that keeps it on top, plus that spring. And then it all clicked back into place. One thing you do need to make sure you do, which I'll just try and get into focus to show you. It's that little tab there needs to sit into there. Easy said than done to show you, but as you put it back together you should be able to see that it clips in. If that little white tab's not plugged in, then your deck won't power back on. So let's see now. Okay, so we have a standby light and we have no disc showing. Let's pop a disc in, see what happens. It takes it and it's reading it. Yep. Skips and fine, everything. So moment of truth, can we eject? We can. So there we go. We just need to take the drive out and clean as much of that gunk off now, and then pop it back together. So what we're going to do now is just pop the lid off of this and try and clean that belt up a little bit better. So as I mentioned before, you have this little belt, this little spring here. Get the gunk off my thing. So we just release that like so. When you see this pin here and that receptacle, that will all slide across. Once we open that, we pop that up, all that will slide across and it is off. So there you have access. So I mean, if you wanted, this is another way how you could get to the belt to clean it if you really wanted, to change it should I say. As you can see, that's really quite grotty. What I find that dissolves this really well is the foam cleaner, but it's a bit impractical to get it in here at the minute. So what we'll do is we'll just have a little bit of IPA around there, and then get a microfiber cloth and just try and turn the wheel and remove it whilst we're at it, if that makes sense. So you can see it's coming off. You're never going to get it perfect unless you remove them, but it's just a case of get the worst off so it doesn't stick. As I say, it's not actually a critical part as such. It's not going to affect the playback or the recording or anything. It's just purely for loading and unloading, so it doesn't matter if you don't get it all off. Just tidy it up a little bit. I mean, we've got some of it off. What we'll do is put a fresh belt on and just see how we get on with that. Set a fresh belt on it. Which is on. Let's get all the just put that back to the home position, which is there. Get the top put back on, which is just a repeat of before. So as you see, you've got the little locator tab there, hinge, what we're going to call it, which will slide out that way. And you've got one on the other side, go in there. You'll notice everything lines up as such. Pop that down. The problem with these mechs is these little springs, they have a tendency to just go where they want. Just try and get it to go back in. We'll throw this all on. There we go, clipped into place. Just been warned, those springs have a habit of disappearing. So that's everything back together there. So I'm going to pop it back in the machine now. Just use this. Okay, let's connect up. First. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see. Power it on. We have gone straight on, which is good. Disc is loaded. Good, it's reading it. Back and everything's still fine. There we go, lovely. So, that deck's been saved. Let's give it a bit of a clean up now. What we'll do is give this case a bit of a clean first. It's a bit grotty before we pop it back together. Still quite grotty though, still a bit more dirt, a bit more cleaning out of them. Give it another spray, I think. Just spray it and leave it a minute. It's not cleaning up too bad on top. There's still a few scuffs and things, but it's not as bad as it was. Do a cleaning the screws up as well. screws back in. Front a good clean as well. Alright. It's had that big knock there, but still cleaned up nicer than it was. So there we have it. I think that looks a lot better. Drop the desk a quick right down. There we go, all repaired. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, where I take something that's destined for the tip and try and fix it, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you'd like me to have a look at fixing next, or indeed even if you've got maybe something you want me to have a look at for you. As always, please like and subscribe, and see you again soon.